Okay. Hello there. So,
Hi.
hey, haha. Please tell my audience what the plot is of your short film, and now I'd lay me down.
Sure. My plot, which I will keep short, it's about a fading actress, Celia Dalvey, who tries to arrange a perfect day and it doesn't go quite as planned. That's my short pitch.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, okay. So, why do you think this short film will speak to people? How will they relate to it?
I love this film because it talks a lot about pain and a woman who's going through a really challenging part of her life. And I feel like we are living in a world that really idealizes like the highlight reel, And I feel like this shows the truth of the human condition and what a lot of people, particularly women, are facing right now as they age, or even with younger women with depression and mental health issues. So I feel like because I took an honest look at that, I think that people will be able to relate to it, and they have. It's screened and had a lot of great screenings, and and it's funny. I deal with this sort of painful subject matter with a comedic tone, and I think that makes it more palatable.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Mhm.
Is the main character based on people you might know?
It is. It's
Uh-huh.
it's a tiny bit based on me, but that's really just to dealing because I was inspired by a more challenging time in my life when I wrote this. There's a little bit of me, but it's definitely not me. Was loosely inspired by an acting professor I had at UCLA Film School in the graduate department. She's no longer living, and her name is actually Delia Salvi. My character's name is Celia Dalby, so it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that big of a jump, but she inspired me. She was a big part of my life when I was learning how to direct actors. She sort of had this Norma Desmond vibe, and I thought of her a lot when I wrote this.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, do you think comedy is a more direct form to the truth than drama at times?
I think if you're being truthful, it doesn't matter what the genre is. Like, even if it's some crazy, fantasy film, it could hit home more than something more realistic. I think it all depends on the place that you're coming from as an artist. And if you're being true to yourself and the emotions of the character, it will relate to anybody.
Okay, well said. I like that. What are your top three comedy films of all time?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's so funny. I've thought a lot about this recently, the idea of what is a comedy and what's a drama. And if they're saying that The Bear, that amazing TV show, is a comedy, that like changes to me what is a comedy and what's not. But okay. Well, The Graduate and Annie Hall and Harold and Maude are three of my favorite films of all time. And while you might call some of them more dramedy, I'll say those guys, those films.
Those are solid. And why those three in particular?
Um, I feel like because they're both dramatic and comedic and they come from a place of truth, I think I'm really drawn toward that period of filmmaking, like in the 70s and 60s. Um, I think that has to do with the tone. And then you also have those great scores like the Simon and Garfunkel with The Graduate and Cat Stevens with Harold and Maude. And then early Woody Allen. I mean, I know he's canceled, but he's had some of my favorite writing and some of my favorite female characters ever created were like by Woody Allen. Like Annie Hall's character in that film is just Diane Keaton, is incredible. And they really made me laugh. And I saw The Graduate right after I graduated from art school and I'd never seen it before. And I was at my grandparents' house who had a pool, and I was like, "Wow, this is really close to home." So they affected me on a personal level too.
I was thinking about this just yesterday, actually. Do you think like our appreciation for, stuff from the 70s like now is
Mhm.
because in part it's like really curated. We've had so much
Mhm.
commentary on it, and
Right.
and and that like maybe let's say in a few decades from now we'll look back at now, and people will be maybe not as tough as we are like looking backwards.
Wow, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, yeah, probably that's true. I feel like it's the film industry is so different now, and it was so much more curated back then in terms of what we actually saw. Um, I don't know. I maybe I'm just old and jaded, but I mean, I think overall the film there was my favorite films are from that era. So I don't know. I feel like we're at a time where like studios need to give more artists, allow more smaller films to be made rather than just like the few huge Marvel type movies, and then maybe we'd have more films like Anora. But they're always good films. You just have to find them, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. I can split we can split her off into like a whole other thing about this
Totally. I can
conversation.
talk forever about films.
I love it though. I love it. So, where did you shoot this and how long did it take?
We shot it in Pasadena, primarily at the actress Jane Kasmerick's house, which is very unusual for your actress to actually let you shoot, though. So that was incredible. Yeah, it was all Pasadena. And the shoot, I think, was 5 days. I had one day prior that was a flashback sequence that we shot with 16 millimeter, and that was maybe a month prior to our initial shoot date. So I think it was a it's so funny how I forget, like a 5 day shoot. And it took me we were in post for a while because the VFX sequences were really challenging. So it took a while to finish. But
All right. It's good stuff. And tell people about what is like would you consider Pasadena just out of LA? Do you consider it LA?
yeah, I do consider it LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a nice area. You see a lot of houses, a lot of places are shot in Pasadena. Like I'm at the point where I can almost recognize a house from like different shows because they always shoot in the same houses there. So yeah.
Good stuff. How big do you think would you say Greater LA is?
It's so funny. I am the worst. It's so funny you're asking me this. I am the worst person to ask any geographical question, so I will just sound like a total airhead. I'm gonna pass.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah, don't ask me for directions.
Okay, deal. I'm gonna stick with Google Maps.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, what about the crew? How many people did you have in this crew, and were they nice people? Well,
They
tell
were
me a little bit about these creatures.
they were wonderful people, and I had a big crew. They were top of the line. I mean, I remember my key gaffer was and Ali. She was like such a rock star. All her gaffer tape was like pink, and I think she went on to work on Barbie. I had a great crew. My DP was Ernesto Lamelli, who's incredible. Vanessa Liska was my production designer. Flora Manzoni was wardrobe. My EP was Christina Seibel. Everyone was just incredible, top of the line. And it did feel like a big crew, very professional, big crew. And everyone was just awesome.
That's great. Do you read books or screenplays more often?
Books. Maybe I
Okay,
should be reading screen. I actually listen to books. I have
you're
two
right.
kids, so it's very difficult to find time to actually read a book.
Mhm.
So I listen to audiobooks a lot. It's like one of my favorite things. So when I do dishes,
Okay.
I'm also hearing a book.
Okay. What was the last one you listened to?
That was the last one. I listened to a book on Lorne Michaels, who created SNL. It
Oh
was a
yeah,
huge, huge, long book, but I listened to the whole thing. I loved it. I also
yeah.
did Barbara Streisand's. Like I listened to some big,
Yeah.
big books recently. That was like 20 hours or something. I listened to it. I ate it
Did
up.
Barbara Streisand do it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. Like her
Yeah.
life, she's an incredible woman. And at first when I saw like how many hours it was, I was like, oh my God, okay. But I listened to all of it. It was great.
And is it off Audible or where are you getting them from?
I think Audible or yeah, Audible.
Okay, we're gonna say Audible. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, great. Okay, and you don't feel like compelled like you like a movie, you read the script, or do you think it's like just all there in the movie, like the lessons are there, you don't have to like see it on the
I
page.
think both. I think
Yeah.
it's a great to be able to read a script and then to watch the film is like a huge learning tool because you can see what they changed and what they cut. So it's like a really great. I used to teach film production at
Oh,
the local university, and I would have that assignment sometimes to read a script and then to watch the movie, and it's you can learn so much from that.
have you ever done it at the same time?
Probably for a minute, yeah. I
Yeah.
think maybe I
Okay.
did that with Whiplash. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Mhm.
Okay. Haha. All right. So, what's some like concrete advice about filmmaking you could pass on to someone else after doing this short in particular?
Right. Well, I would say the biggest thing is to actually just make content. I think for many years of my life, I let the fact that I didn't have money prevent me from making films. It's a great excuse, and it is a real excuse, or just time, because I have kids and life is very difficult. But Sean Baker taught us that you can go out and shoot a great film on your phone. And
Yeah.
you can. So I would say actually just to force yourself to create. And that's the best thing that you can do. And I wish I had done more of that actually.
This is the second time you brought up Sean Baker. Have you met Sean Baker?
Oh, no, I might be working with his production designer, who happens to be his sister coming up, but no, I haven't. I just is it the second time? Oh yeah, Nora. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I'm a
mentioned
big, I'm a
you
big,
mentioned it to
I'm a big,
Nora. Yeah, not
I'm
him,
a big
but you.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big
Nice.
fan. Mhm.
I sat next to him in a cafe in France.
Oh, awesome. Love
But anyways, that's it for us. I want to thank you for your time. What's
Thank
next for
you.
you though, and what is your final message about And Now I Lay Me Down?
My final message, it'd be to I would love for people to see it. You can see it online coming up at the Imagine This Women's Film Festival in New York City. It's in a bunch of film festivals coming up. And next thing, I'm casting my first feature called End of the Line. It's a dark comedy, dysfunctional family dark comedy, kind of similar to Little Miss Sunshine.
Okay, well we'll stay tuned for that, and in the meantime, I want you to enjoy life.
Thank you so much. Thanks for